Great. Hey, Dental Nachos crew, it's Paul, Dr. Nacho. I'm going to be talking about rural practices with my friend, Dr. Chris Griffin. He's first going to check and see. You're welcome to see if you can do a watch party there, Chris. If it's too complicated, no problem. But what I'm going to ask from you guys as Chris checks is, are you thinking about moving to a rural location? What's the difference between rural, suburban, city, urban? I did a poll on Dental Nachos. Apparently it was a spicy poll because some people were not happy with how he described rural practices. I meant no harm to rural practices in any way. So I want to say that up front. No harm. I think all practices have great opportunities, but I am going to share my story. I believe the story is the star. So I am a multi-practice owner in central New Jersey, it's, suburban area, but I also sell practices. And we have a great rural practice in PA that collects $1.4 million a year, 6 operatories, amazing seller who will sell, stay on and mentor for a little bit, all the great stuff. And I cannot find a really interested buyer. So how can I not find an interested buyer for a practice that collects $1.4 million with strong profit? And when I tell new buyers about it and they're interested in PA, they say, oh, I don't want to go to this area. So we're going to talk with Dr. Chris. So welcome, Dr. Chris, to Spicy Toppings with Dr. Nacho. Thanks for being here, and share with us your dental story, where you're dentisting, how many years you've been dentisting. Give us the whole Dr. Chris Griffin rundown.
Hey, Paul. Well, first, hey, man, I am a rural dentist. So
yeah, I like
let
that.
Let me put on my rural dental hat real quick.
That's awesome. I'm going to take a picture.
So what we, I'm the one that took offense. Let's all be honest about it.
Yes. Yeah, you did.
You did a poll and you're like, hey guys, would you rather have this great practice or this better practice or this rural practice or something like that? And I'm like, guys, what's up with this? Why is everybody hating on rural? I don't understand. I do not get it. So anyway, I have been a
If she's there though, I want to thank your wife, because I think your wife did say maybe you were being too sensitive and the nacho guy wasn't trying to be too mean.
My wife is always saving, my wife's always trying to apologize for my raucous behavior, right? But yeah,
that's what wives do.
Everybody said that I was being too sensitive. It's fine. I was being too sensitive. If you're from Mississippi, like I am, you get ripped on a lot in a lot of different ways, right? So, yeah, so that's what it was. But, yeah, so I've been a dentist since 1998 here in my hometown of Ripley, Mississippi. It's rural as it gets. It's like 5,000 people and headed in the other direction, I'm the first.
Are you the only, I just like to get that, are you the only dentist in this town?
No, there's 6 of us.
6 dentists for only 5,000 people, or there's
Correct.
More than that?
No, that's that. Well, we're the county seat and there are 22,000 maybe in the county.
Gotcha.
So we're the only 6 dentists in the county also.
Okay. Gotcha.
Yeah. But it's just us. And, so I've been here for 22 years and, I'm the first person in my family who's not also a farmer. So I'm first generation dentist. And so I really love it. I have 3 kids. None of them want to be a dentist, Paul. So I'm really,
so I want to say though, Chris, I want to compliment you. It's a great story being a dentist so you went back to your hometown after, where'd you go to dental school?
Tennessee.
Tennessee. So you've been a dentist now 22 years. You're like me, a medium-aged dentist, a MAD, 10 to 25 years out. That's our classification. Medium-aged dentist. So you go back to your hometown to practice. Share with us, I'm doing this cool associate survival and thrival kit because I also find associates for all types of locations. And I'm trying to get dentists to expand their geographic flexibility. I know where you are now, but what happened when you went after dental school or residency and went back? Tell us about the early days of Chris Griffin.
Well, this is possibly, I can relate to these younger guys that don't want to go to a small town. So what happened, I love my hometown. So I wanted to come back here. I really did. I had opportunities to go to bigger cities, Nashville or suburbs of Memphis, but I came back here. Right. And so, but as a 24-year-old, 25-year-old, 26-year-old dentist, I actually wanted to be like the #1 cosmetic dentist in the state of Mississippi, right? So you're old enough maybe to know LVI,
sure.
Hanky Dawson. I did all that stuff, and it was tough. Like I tried to have a real advanced perio program in my hygiene department. But in a town of 5,000, it's a real blue collar. It was a tough go. I was not smart enough as a mid-20s-year-old dentist to figure that piece of the puzzle out. So when I was like 27, 28 years old, my wife gave birth to our first son. And I said, Chris, you probably need to get serious about making money and not just trying to be this fancy cosmetic dentist. And so I gave up those dreams for a while and just started hitting it hard. And, when I started doing just regular bread and butter dentistry and doing a lot of it, the finances got a lot better. And slowly but surely, as the years have gone by, now when we have a big practice, we've been able to add in implants, add in ortho, add in sleep.
Awesome. And those are things. So I love this topic, or topping, if you will. I like to infuse a lot of toppings into my nachos and spicy toppings. So you basically are saying, you went back saying, I want to do cosmetic dentistry, which is normal at a young dentist. But you say, hey, I don't have the patient population to do it, so I need to shift gears. And now the things that you're doing now, how does that fit into your patient population better?
Well, it's really good. I mean, when you have a big flow coming through your office every day, now you're more knowledgeable, right? As a 47-year-old dentist, I see things a lot more clearly than I did at age 25. So, you have better communication skills. It's just things with age, you get wiser. Your arm hurts more, your knees hurt more, but you're wiser and you're probably a better dentist. And so you just see people in hygiene and you're like, oh, wow, they obviously got sleep apnea. Let's have a conversation. Yeah. Or, this is going to be like an implant case that's like almost too easy. Let's go have a conversation. And they're just flowing through the office. So it just makes life a lot easier.
I love that you're sharing that. Now, if you could help the nacho verse a minute. So you've grown up in this rural community, which was your home. So one of the things I share, and I help dentists. I love doing it. And, I just had a dentist from a rural location saying, this is a great practice I got. And it is. He goes, I'd like someone to come down here. I'll mentor them. You could hike. You could do this stuff. And I said, hold on one sec. I said, I just have a question. He goes, I don't know why these young dentists don't want to come. I said, hold on. I got a question for you. If I have a practice in Philadelphia where I can double your income, will you move to Philadelphia right now and take this practice? And the owner said, nah, I like where I live. And I said, that's the problem. That's the challenge. So let's say you go back to right after dental school or residency, and you're talking to a nacho out there who's saying, I'm willing to be geographically flexible. What skill sets would you recommend they work on to succeed in a rural location?
Well, if you go rural, at least from what I have seen, you're just, as long as you're efficient at doing a lot of restorative dentistry, the sky's the limit as far as the amount of money you want to make. I mean, I just don't see how anybody could fail rural if your restorative skills are at all good. And it's also, you're going to see a lot of toothaches. So your endo skills need to be good. And hey, it's okay to have good implant skills rural, because that's kind of the rural, like my best friend works in a rural town in Tennessee. We were talking about, it's almost like the rural path is, hey doc, I've got a toothache. Okay. Well, let's try the root canal. Okay. 15 years later, hey doc, this hurts again. Right. Let's pull the tooth. Now it's time for the implant. So, you do it. Maybe things move a little slower out here. They probably do, but you still can do a lot of really good dentistry if you go rural. And hey, what I've never understood, like I'm 45 minutes from a pretty nice sized town. So why do you think associates are reticent to like not live in the suburb of the bigger town and just drive rural so they can make more money? I don't understand that.
I think it's a great point, and there's some people were chiming in today, and a awesome young female dentist says she does that. I think sometimes we forget how challenging it is when we're young and we get out and think about this. Dental school's stressful, dentistry stressful. I don't actually think if it would matter if they move next to you and your wife or the big town. They're still moving to a place where they don't have a social network. And it doesn't mean they can't move there. It's just a consideration. So if you're married and maybe your spouse has a job where they can work remotely, perhaps that will work because you kind of bring a friend with you. But if you're young and single out of school, I totally understand the challenges, but sometimes there's a bigger challenge, and that's called surviving and making money. And this weekend, I'm going to have Dr. Sonny Sparrow, Dr. Arash, they need an associate so badly. They're going to come on this program and talk about their practice and say, come out there and we can mentor you. One thing I've shared, Chris, and I think it's something where, I try to bring dentists into the middle and get this concept. Someone will call me up from any location, say, Paul, can I get an associate, meet someone, but I want them to be able to buy in. I want an associate to buy in. I said, wait, way too much, right? Doctors, Chris, go to residency programs 3-4 years around the country. No problem with treating some of this like a private practice residency. Maybe you go for 3 years, maybe you go for 5 years. What do you think of that?
Oh, that's brilliant. And you know what? People like me who love being a solo dentist, we would be all about that, because you know what? We hate to get somebody down here, and if it doesn't work out, hey, hit the door.
Yeah.
But if we knew that it was only like a 2, 3, 4 year commitment, we would be all about hiring somebody and treating them right. And then, hey, great. Have a great time in your next job, you know?
And then what happens when you do that, and I share this, and we're going to talk about on Sunday. If anybody wants to join on Sunday, watching for free, text Connect to 215-543-6454. Text Connect to 215-543-6454. Your phone might blow up, but take that risk. I'm just joking. It won't blow up, and Natalie will drop that in, because we're going to talk about the reasons why an office needs an associate. And when you're replacing someone, you build up that position for 3 or 4 years, you could replace someone in that position. So I am wanting to try to have you on to spread the message of be geographically flexible, but also have rural owners share with me, Chris, you know, do you have a need for an associate, whether you can get one or not? Do you have too many patients where you're from, and would you benefit from having an associate?
Well, so Paul, I actually chose to work 3 days a week. I absolutely could fill up my schedule 5 days a week, especially if I wanted to take some of the other insurances or something like that. I have, just because of my lifestyle, I just wanted to have a 3-day-a-week lifestyle. But absolutely, if I had a good associate, man, we'd be open 5 days a week, possibly more than that, and it would not be a problem to keep them busy. It would be tremendous.
And that's why that's great to hear. And that's why I say JFO. It doesn't mean the other thing. Means just find out. Just find out about these opportunities. Always be exploring. And you shared with me, I always like to share some value. So you were talking that maybe there's 22,000 people in the area, and how many dentists? 6 dentists or 5 dentists?
6 dentists, yeah.
So dentists out there, I sell practices, I do this. Where I am, Chris, it's about 1 dentist to every 1,100 people. Where you're from is about 1 dentist to every 4,000 people. So you guys in your area, male, female dentists, have too many patients to handle. What happens? This is just a genuine question. I'm curious. When you guys have too many patients, how do these patients get seen? Do they just wait a long time? Do you guys always feel like you can't catch up? I don't mean in the day. I mean, your capacity, 5 dentists doesn't seem like they could service 22,000 people.
Well, I mean, I'm sure it's challenging now. You know, Paul, that was my thing back in 2007. Like, I went all over the country. I'd shadow dentists that I knew were doing a lot of volume, because I knew I was going to have to do that if I started just serving the general population. So we got super fast. Like, you know, that's kind of my thing is we want to be very efficient. Yeah. And so we're very fast at everything we do without sacrificing quality. So that was my solution is, hey, you just have to get your skill level up so high that you can just get a bunch of people through the office every day. Because you're right. It's not right to put people off on the schedule, you know, so that was my choice. Now, if you don't want to work, say, as hard or as fast as what I do, then you got to make some other decisions.Maybe you don't take some insurances. Maybe, you know, maybe your prices are a little bit higher, whatever. But that was my solution, is because I wanted the security. I feel like with a patient base as big as mine is now, I'm very secure that no matter what happens, hey, I've got something that can take care of my family. You can choose to practice any way you want to. That was my choice. I was not willing to sacrifice that security blanket. So that's why we did it that way. But
I like that. And I think it's a great share to say, you know, different business models can work for different dentists. And my goal here in having you on, and appreciate your time, is to kind of share your story. I mean, we don't hear these stories. So you're saying you're a rural dentist, have a big patient population. You do specialty procedures. So you got to build up those skills. Restorative, endo, and extraction seem like that would be a good foundation for an associate or someone who want to buy your practice. So if anyone has any questions in the Zoom chat, drop them in, or Natalie will get them from the Facebook Live. I have a few more questions for Chris. Now, help me, Chris, and let's put you in this scenario. At some point, you want to sell your practice. I don't know when it is. And here's the thing. People who work in rural locations, and maybe people have done amazingly well financially, they're usually not willing to just close the door. It's emotional, right? You took care of these patients. you want to find someone to take over your dental legacy. But now let's make it this way, Chris. You can't leave dentistry unless you find a replacement, right? That's the rule, right? So you say, all right, I got to find a replacement. What would you be sharing about your location, environment, fun stuff to do for a dentist to take over and be the new Chris?
Oh, so you're saying how would I recruit someone?
Yes, and if I was your broker, I say this, and like, give me the story that, dentists love to say, you could do implants. That part's great. I'm talking about like, what can they do in the town, raising a family?
Well,
tell me stuff about that.
I mean, yeah, that's true. I mean, I guess to me, if if you want a good family, you can raise a good family pretty much anywhere. You're in charge of that. What I would say, if you come rural, you don't necessarily have to worry about selling your practice. It's great. And I really need, I would love to sell my practice someday. Right. But you're going to probably, if you're a good guy and if you get your skill level up, you're going to make enough money. You're going to have your debts paid off early. You're going to have your retirement funded pretty early. And it's probably going to be in a position where you don't absolutely have to sell the practice to make your retirement funded.
Oh, totally agree with you there. But I'm the Dr. Nacho guy. I like to think I try to be this guy who bonds us together and creates the industry on Be Nicer, Mr. Rogers. So let's say this, Chris, let's say, forget about the money. You could have plenty of money. Let's say you need to replace yourself because your community actually needs a dentist. What's going to happen to these communities? I have a friend in New Hampshire who moved from New Jersey to New Hampshire, not a unique move. And she said, my friends are having a hard time selling their practices. I said, yeah, because I don't hear of people wanting to move to New Hampshire randomly. So if you have to get someone there, what would be the story? Come to Mississippi. Is it good outdoors? Is it sports, restaurants? What's some things that people could come there for?
Well, okay. So if you like space, so I live on my father and I live on 32 acres. We live on a blueberry farm / vineyard.
Oh,
right.
Cool.
We got chickens. We got all the stuff you got out here in the country. So all the space you want to have. I mean, if you like to play golf, I'm a mile from the golf course. I go out there basically every day. The crowd, there's no crowd. I got a 1-minute commute to the office. If you want to get away from the hustle and bustle, this is absolutely the place for you. Now I know it's challenging. The 25-year-olds probably like the hustle and bustle, right?
Yeah.
But when you get ready to raise a family, most people want a little bit more space. And so I think if you go rural, it gives you the space to create the kind of family life you want.
And you can basically walk into a practice that you've created that they could take over and not have to do much as long as they can replace your skill set. If you're thinking of buying a practice out there and you want a tip from me, a Nacho tip, whether you're buying a practice urban, suburban, city, or rural, when you go to buy it, you think, can I replicate what this dentist is doing? So if dentist is doing 30% ortho and you don't know how to hold the bracket upside down, right? Or, right, don't do it. If this dentist is doing 20% endo and you refer it out. So share with us this. I won't hijack too much more of your time here, Chris. I know your wife probably needs you, but you told me before we jumped on, you don't have specialists close to you. So how do you deal with, not only do I not have specialists close to me, they work in the same office as me. So I get coddled, periodontist for this sinus lift. We actually have a prosthodontist, a tough case. We had an endodontist, sleep apnea specialist. So I'm like a giant baby. I can refer in my own office and almost down the street. So I don't live a life like that. Tell me about how do you manage specialty care, stuff you don't want to do with patients in a location like that?
Well, that's tricky. I mean, there are, believe it or not, enough people in the area. You can get specialists to come in to spend some time in your office. There are enough specialists in the area that will do that. I personally wanted to get my skill set where I could do a lot of that stuff, except the very, very hard stuff, and refer that out. But people rural, we are used to traveling. We're used to going 45 minutes to an hour to go to the movies. Okay. If they ever have movies again. Yeah. So it's not that big a deal to refer them out, but if you can get your skill set up rural and you can do some of the stuff, the ortho, the surgery, man, the sky's the limit. And even though I do all that, still 70% of my practice is restorative, right? So you're still, restorative's the base. You get your restorative and your endo down, you're gold in rural. And then you just learn that other stuff and do what you want to.
And that's why I think, we went to dental school 2002, 98 for you. What we did in the past, I'm a fan of GPRs, but why it's so valuable to do a GPR EGD before you launch into 20 or 30 years is you can practice that stuff Chris is talking about. You can have endo attendings teach you how to do endo, rotary endo in your GPR, then take that skill with you. It's not easy to always practice and learn those skills in private practice. Doesn't mean impossible, just a challenge. So the more you learn early in your career in that specialty world of taking out teeth, endo, and restorative is important. So what are your kids going to do, Chris? You're three awesome kids. You can't convince them to do dentistry?
None of them. None of them. I got one in architect school. One has no idea what he wants to do. except play golf, which he's not on the college golf team, so I'm not sure where that's going. And my daughter is a senior in high school, but says she loves me, but she wants nothing to do with being a dentist. So we'll see. I don't know. Maybe I can practice long enough to have a grandkid. What do you think, Paul?
Yeah, I don't know. That's a lot more endos to get to that point. And one of the things that's happened with this pandemic, just to talk dad to dad, but my kids are much younger than yours, like 2 and 6. If you want to babysit them for free, you're welcome to. Actually, we rent them. They can come to Mississippi. But it must scare. I mean, this is just I always like to think about industries and jobs. I'm probably someone who had been very happy doing a bunch of different jobs, doctor, dentist, lawyer, accountant, CEO. I just like different things. For a young person like your daughter, let's say, this pandemic has had to be a little scary about if you do a job where you have to see people and that gets shut down, it's a problem. Like you can't be a remote dentist, but you can be probably a remote architect or you can be a remote accountant. And I just think for this generation that's coming up through college and high school, that's probably a consideration because restaurants, dentistry, hair salons, great businesses, but they're based on seeing people shoulder to shoulder each day.
Oh, absolutely. Oh, my daughter, she took a program in high school where at the end of the program, you can actually get your lowest level nursing license in Mississippi. But then she chose not to do it because of all this, because they send you to the nursing homes and, everybody's worried about everything. So it's weird times.
It's a real interesting recentering. And I think, you're awesome children. My kids are way younger than that. Like making those decisions on your career, it's kind of nacho nuts right now. I think, do something, I think, where you can communicate virtually and learn that skill, regardless of whether you're going to be a dentist, nurse, physician, because we're going to have more, look what we're doing now, more of this. And I think that's just going to be part of it. So before we wrap up, Chris, I want you to share what's your Facebook group? How do people join it? And I love your why. Why do you run this Facebook group, and what do you guys talk about in this group?
Well, so I just feel, the trends, Paul, are headed in the wrong direction for solo dentists, and maybe that's the way it's going to be. But I just felt like there were enough of us out there who still are solo dentists or on a small private practice who just need help. Years ago, Paul, you remember Howard Friend's first ever dental town?
Yeah. Sure.
His motto was no dentist should ever practice alone again.
Love that.
So, I kind of feel like at our Facebook group, now yours is amazing. In our Facebook group, if you're a solo dentist or a real small practice, we want you to have a safe haven. Come in there. It's just dentists. It's no staff people. And, let's go back and forth on everything. And what I always say is if you've got a DDS or a DMD behind your name or whatever, I think it's a BDS in England, whatever it is. If you're a dentist, you can say what you want to.
I like that. And I think that's important. Moms need mom groups. People who do golf. It's just great to have a community within communities. Dental Nachos is a really fun community that I like that has the whole nacho plate, but it's great to find, your own niche. And maybe I like spending time in other groups. I've enjoyed spending time in your group. So we'll drop that in the links here for people to join your group because I think, this is the time where dentistry has this unique opportunity to bond together, to use a dental term, through social media groups. And people, young dentists and old dentists alike, Chris, will tell me, I don't even turn on my Facebook account. And I say, you're missing out because there's so much valuable stuff in the dental Facebook groups that if that's the only reason you went there, I've learned tips, I've bought products, I've met friends, people have found jobs. There's too much good stuff. So I know we're on a Facebook Live, so you guys are on Facebook, but if your friends are kind of that TSD, right? That's so dentist, right, Chris? We need more JBN. Know what TSD is? I'll tell you what it is, okay? This is TSD. You do implants. I love implants, right?
Right.
I'll be lecturing. Implants, back tooth implants, one of the best things we can offer a person on earth, not even in dentistry. The product is so great. Some dentist says, one time at band camp, I saw an implant fail, right? I say, how many times you see that? They go, I don't know, 2 out of 100? Stop with the TSD. Just fix those 2 times. If you want the answer to patient communication problems, when something goes off script, they don't like their partial, an implant fails, I say needs to be replaced, just fix those problems. Refund them. Do it over for free. Give them half credit. But don't let your mind get TSD-ified with negativity. And that's why, yes, Facebook groups, we all know running them, there can be some high emotions, and sometimes there could be some friction. But I've also been on family vacations with people that I love and had some friction. I don't know if you've been on a family vacation. Oh, when you're on a family vacation at the beach, is it just no problems all the time? Of course not. So we kind of are this community. And, sometimes, I do some consulting, Chris, and different things, and I love it. And, some dentists say, our staff is like a family. I go, oh, you yell and scream and fight each other sometimes? So, that's true. Team is like that. So I really appreciate it, Chris. Any parting thoughts for the Nacho-verse or dentist before we jump off? Rural dentistry, anything you want to share?
No, I think, man, we hit it all on the head. I think if you want to go rural, don't be scared of it. Reach out to some rural dentists and see what they say. And who knows, maybe Paul and I someday will come up with a rural dentist matching program. We talked about.
That's it. I like you. You like blueberry farming? I have the place for you. So,
there you
go. Awesome Dental Nachos. Have a great night. Zoom people, you can hang on for a few minutes. Thanks so much for being on with us, Chris.
All right. Thanks, man.
Okay, so that was really fun, Chris. You did awesome. We have some people in the Zoom chat. I know some of these people here in the chat. So if you guys have any questions for Chris on rural dentistry, what's his handicap? What's your handicap, Chris, for golf?
Man, supposedly 3.5, but
oh wow, you're awesome.
I seriously question. I don't think that's right. I say that I'm an 8, but the USGA says I'm a 3.5, and that is no fun when you play with other people that are good.
Yeah, you're a solid golfer. My brother was an excellent golfer. I played high school golf. I go on one trip a year now. Golf to me, I like it. It's just too many hours sometimes when you have a young family. It's just like, you go to the gym for an hour. You could do something else for 2 hours. Sometimes golf is just too long of a process.
Hey, Paul, let me. How long do you think it takes me and my dad to play 9 holes from the time we leave our house till we get back to our house?
You guys are at a course that's on, I don't know, two and a half hours.
Takes us 1 hour.
Oh, that's awesome.
We play 9 holes in 1 hour. We play basically every day.
I think golf. I love business. I love business models. I love brands. I just love creative problem solving. If golf hired me and said, how can we stay relevant? They got to make it about 9 holes, right? You could still play 18, but if they want young people to play golf with the attention span, 18 holes of golf, it should be 9 holes is the thing. And 18 is extra, right? And I think they could get people to do it. You could get couples to do it. You could get friends to do it. You could turn it into something fun. But I think golf is in the danger of losing relevance if, it's a 6-hour process to play it,
It really, you're right. It is. Of course, I'm like you now. Once a year, I go on a trip to nice courses. But you're right. The young guys, my son, who's really good, his best friend plays at Ole Miss, and they go out there. They'll play like 3 or 4 holes and then go up to the putting green and get on their phones and chip around. Then they'll go play 3 or 4 more holes. I think you're onto something.
Yeah, I like that. All right, Chris, I'll tell your wife thanks for letting us see. We'll do some more fun stuff. Go in on this live and share the link to your group. For dentists, I'll send people your way, and I really appreciate you being a positive force out here in the dental community.
Man, yeah, sorry I couldn't get that watch party started. I could not.
Oh, that's okay. No big deal.
So.
Yeah, no big deal. Also, my team, Natalie's still on here. We'll actually edit this. Natalie, edit it, and we'll just send you the link, and you can share it. We'll chop off the front, the top, and all you nice Zoom people, you could have said something to us. I see your name here. Hey, Dan, Jenny, Linda, Megan. I still see Melody, Rachel. Rachel is, I think you're a student still, Rachel, so thanks for jumping on, or maybe GPR resident. Varun, so if I can help you guys in any way, just reach out to me at pauldentalnachos.com. I forgot to, if you text nachos to 215-543-6454, you'll get a free CE prize. So awesome, Chris. Enjoy the rest of your night. Really nice talking to you.
All right, Paul. Good to see you, man.
See you, crew, on Zoom.